All right, let's jump into it. Number one, yes, I have a cold. That's out of the way. Number two, let's just get into this. You've seen the title. Why doesn't 3.0 really matter in the long run? Let's just be honest with ourselves. 3.0 has kind of lost relevancy because we're 10 months late and we've had features cut. And not to get into it too much, but look, as far as I'm concerned, it is what it is. Okay, they could have released it earlier with a lot more bugs, or they could release it later. It doesn't matter because it's not the end all be all. It proves a lot of points if they can do things or not. But like I said, we're 10 months late already. So you tell me. So what I really want to happen, what matters more than anything else, more than 3.0 or 3.1 or 3.2 or 4.0, the basic design philosophies have to be nailed down. Period. That's what I need to be confident in CIG. Because they're pretty just kind of, they're so just, it's just a seesaw back and forth on these basic features. And I'm going to go over a few of them. Number one, the flight model. We've got to get this nailed down. Because number one, like I keep telling people, this is a spaceship game, okay? Mining and salvage and everything else, that's awesome. But if the flight model sucks, it's not going to be fun for anybody. A few things we need to get down. Basically, number one is the speed. I mean, is it going to be slow and up-close dogfights, or is it going to be this fast and kind of twitchy little joust and chase crap we've had? They need to decide. Because we can't keep going back and forth and back and forth. The next thing is the IM mouse mode. I've talked about this before. This is not, if you don't understand, I'm not against mouse flight at all. This is not anti-mouse. It's anti-IM mode versus everything else. Because if you don't know the difference, basic mouse flight in most games, basically all games except for Freelancer, is what you call VJoy. It's a virtual joystick, okay? It's just like a regular joystick, any other flight model. You fly the ship and then you aim. You fly the ship to aim. With IM mouse mode, it's the opposite. It's an FPS in space. It's first-person shooter in space. You aim, and then the ship flies for you. You don't do it. You basically don't fly. You just aim the whole time. And if you can't understand why that's bad versus everything else, like I said, just keep it simple. IM mode is you aim, and the ship flies for you. All other modes, VJoy mouse, like I said, it's not anti-mouse. Joysticks, you fly the ship to aim. Period. Okay, now the issue with all of this, just the flight model, all of that, the ship speeds, you can't balance anything until you figure that out. You can't balance ships, the shields, the weapon sizes, even missiles. You can't do any of that until you get the flight model down. So think about that for a second. How much does 3.0 really mean? We've got planets and stuff. That's great. They've proved they can do that. What about the flight model? And this is just some of the other basic things. Like number two, is the PvE and PvP slider. That was a huge deal back in the year, a few years ago. That's all anybody talked about. Look at the forums, the archive, if it's still up even by now. I mean, honestly, every day I'm expecting them to take it down. You can't post, you can just read. Is the PvP slider, is it in? I mean, does it even matter anymore? Are they not going to do it? Because if not, that changes a lot of stuff. Because now you're going to be open to PvP if you don't want to be. Personally, I don't have a problem with PvP. But there's a lot of people I flew with that's all they cared about. Because they don't have much time in the day. And they don't have time for trolls. They work a lot. They've got a family. And they don't have time for trolls. And the PvE slider let them get by. So, I mean, and that's, like I said, I have no problem with PvP at all. But some people do. A lot of people backed, and they don't know that CIG, like in one of my last videos I talked about, some of the higher-ups didn't even know what it was anymore because we've changed people out so much. So just keep that in mind. The next thing we'll talk about is they keep redoing, they call it refactoring. They keep redoing assets over and over. I've mentioned docking colors on one of my last videos. They keep redoing assets because they don't have the basic design philosophies down. If they hammered them down, it would, they've got, I've said before and I'll say it again, they've got their workforce. They have the pipeline to make extreme progress. The way they've got it set up, in theory, should be able to outproduce anything that's come before it. But the issue is they keep tripping over themselves because they don't have the design philosophies nailed down. And that's why it's taking so long. And people don't understand that. Like the whole, just a few things like gimbals, okay? Yeah, it's related to the flight model. And I'll be quick about this. The original, I've said before, in the original Arena Commander, we had auto-lock gimbals, and it was fun. The only thing we missed back then was a way to temporary break the gimbal lock. That earlier flight model, if you've played it, it was fun. It was white knuckle. And move on to the next thing, LTI. And I'll just be upfront with you. LTI has nothing to do with me. My little starter package did not offer LTI, period. But the issue is the people that bought into the game early, the LTI was used to incentivize that, okay? And they said no LTI after this. Well, what happened is, of course, everybody knows you can get LTI token ships now, every concept to sell. So, I mean, like I said, to me, I have no dog in that fight, but there's a lot of people that do. And I can understand their anger with that, because if they tell me, you get this ship, it'll have LTI if you buy it this time. This is way back in the day. If you buy one of the Kickstarter packages, LTI, we're not going to offer it again. Get it now. You won't have to worry about insurance. Cool. People did it. People put in big money to get the bigger ships. What rolls around? Well, LTIs makes people buy stuff a little bit better. So yeah, we've got LTI again in. And, like I said before, it's all of this back and forth, and, they're just so flippant about the basics. I mean, this is why Squadron 42, it keeps getting delayed, by the way, if you don't know. Like the whole vertical slice, all that doesn't matter because the basics aren't hammered down. You cannot make a single-player game if you don't have the basics, let alone the Star Citizen multiplayer, the MMO. And I'll just be honest, like I said, 3.0 to me isn't as big a deal anymore. It was relevant about a year ago. As it's gotten delayed in feature cut, it means less and less every day. And, and I'll just be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. And there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you to either get a refund and shut up, or they'll tell you to buy a better ship and shut up. I'm not going to tell you. My personal advice to you, make a deadline and give it context. Set them up like, my previous deadline, I want to have seamless space to planet and back by January 1st, 2018. That still stands. If, January 1st rolls around and I can't do that after they've promised me for over a year I can do that, then no, I'm getting a refund. And it's not kind of a spiteful thing. It's you guys had a year to get it done. You've showed videos on it. You took money on that, and, you can't deliver. So I'll probably, like I said, that still stands. My next one, though, is, and I've thought a lot about it over the last, I guess, about a month and a half. Guys, if that comes out and we have seamless transition, which we should have had 10 months ago, like they showed us, if it's getting to be April, March of next year, and, we still haven't nailed down basics, if we're just selling ships and making pretty landing sites, I'm out. I'll put it like this. It's less and less about can they do what they've promised, and more about, just getting the basics out. Because at the rate we're going, folks, we're not going to have a game. Because like I said, we're coming up, how many times has the Cutlass been redone? And we still get, the 300 series is up to be redone. I mean, we're just redoing assets over and over. We still have to redo the Avenger. If you don't know, the whole story behind that is there's not enough space for its engines and its power plant and everything in it in the model they've got. So they're going to have to change it. Or they're going to have to do some, hand wavium and make it special. I mean, like I said, we're redoing assets over and over. It's gotten to the point now to where, like, I don't care. Like I said, 3.0, yeah, whatever. 3.1, 4.0, salvaging, mining. Man, you got to get the basics down. So anyway, all I can tell you is do your research. My advice, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. My advice, make a deadline, give it context, stick to it. Because I am. Y'all, have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you around later.